Live on a Thursday edition of the program. I am merely Bo. He is the great Z.
Under attack. Besieged.
You're not under attack.
No,
We're
I've
besieged.
been under attack.
Pedro is. Did you ever respond to you? On
He
your
did.
plans for
we
Shador and
we
the
actually
Shador Purdy discussion?
We actually doesn't want, and then he goes, people are actually saying that here.
They're saying that out there.
Yeah. He said he's heard, he's hearing that, and he doesn't like it at all.
So he doesn't want any part of that. I didn't think.
No, he doesn't want any part of that. He wants no part of it at all. He was we actually had a very, very funny conversation yesterday.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, which was good. By the way, I know some big L's are headed there to the beauty.
Oh, they're headed?
Yeah, headed right.
Big old luminaries
Big
are
old
headed down
luminaries.
there?
Yeah.
When you get old, we're all kind of getting there.
Stop it.
A little. We gotta own it.
I don't
That's what it
like
is.
to.
It's
I
fine.
wouldn't like to be.
Well, you're going to be young again soon. It's going to be all over in a couple of months. You're going to be right back to where you were. That's going to bring the youth out of you.
The bottom line, I'm hanging
Bringing
on.
a young babe in, little zogs bouncing around. You're going to be like you're 30 again, buddy.
I'm hanging on, to my youth. Pops are being called flexes. It's out of control. I'm under attack. I just want to watch the golf.
Go ahead, do it.
I'm such the victim.
Go ahead. You brought it up. Go ahead. Do it.
God.
I think you're doing this so that we can talk about your muscles. So go
No,
ahead. Let's
I'm not
start.
doing it. I'm
Totally.
doing it because I was attacked.
No, that's the
See?
attacker
There
right
he is,
there.
right there. There he is.
See?
It's-
Flex.
It's just
Flex.
It's just
100%.
it's a pop.
It's a
not
flex.
a flex.
It's a flex. He knows. The real See? He knows. He knows. He knows. Great swag.
By the way, that was
What an
tremendous.
outfit he's
By
got.
the
And
way,
he got a little leg in there.
when's the last time you get to see that? The quad shakeout before?
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's Jay Cutler stuff.
that's
Ronnie Coleman.
yeah, that's old school.
Those are the only two bodybuilders I think I could name.
I
Other
don't
than
know.
Arnold.
Yeah, I don't know that I know any. I know
Lou
that there
Ferrigno.
was a time. Boy, he was formidable as the Hulk. Amazing that they just threw green body paint on him.
That's all it needed.
It's all you needed was just that, and that was
Yeah.
it. And there was
Yeah.
they did very little similarity between him and David Banner, the guy who played him.
Yeah.
But it was. I wonder how the theme song opening of that would hold up.
I don't
Incredible
remember it.
Hulk.
I don't remember it at all.
I remember the pant ripping on the thigh was a big one.
Yeah.
That was kind of a disarming thing.
Whenever my buddy
Alarming.
whenever Beatbox gets mad, we send him. There's in the gift thing you can find. There's one that is Conan O'Brien getting mad and he snaps a pencil and then he becomes the Hulk. And it's hysterical. He just gave the guy on the phone.
Does he know that guy?
Okay, yeah, he works here. He works here.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's running a business. He knows everybody.
He knows everybody in
Yeah,
here?
yeah. That was amazing that he did the thigh.
That was pretty
the
good.
The quad looking fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm glad he brought attention
As
to that.
you're as we're getting older.
Yeah.
It's pretty remarkable that from what I can tell, and I have not been to the Masters, you've not been to the Masters, Gibby's not been to the
No.
Masters. It feels like it's one of the few things in sports where time just has stood still.
Yep.
That it is very little different now than it was 40 years ago. That it's pretty much the same thing.
Well, it's
The sport has changed dramatically. The equipment,
Also
the
the
talent,
course.
like all of that. But that's for I think
not lengthening. I'm talking that we see now.
yeah.
Like hole 12 and the lack of what I would call precision and upkeep and flowers and all of those things.
You've seen that image of
Oh
from
my
the
god!
60s.
Yeah, it looks like a completely different. It looks like a local muni, and now it is the Mecca.
I think for like golf people, which I would classify you as golf person.
Thank you.
And I think even like golf adjacent, which is what I would classify myself as
you're a
golf
golfer.
adjacent.
You're just playing a big one.
I think then you can see
8
and
over par
notice
for
some of the-
16 holes. That's not golf adjacent.
No, that's golf.
That's a
adjacent.
golfer.
It was 15, not 16. So it was not.
That's a golfer.
We anyway,
G-Man knows.
I think you would notice that image I wouldn't have noticed, but like I would bet you that the gross majority of people who tune into this weekend are people who casually watch sports, and the Masters is on, so I'm going to watch it. I bet you they couldn't even recognize the differences in the course for the last 40 years. Since it's been on television, I mean, I bet you couldn't.
In many cases, all it is lengthening. Like they took a tree out on 17, but for the most part, it's finding ways to stretch the course and challenge you guys. The one thing that never comes across on television, and I've always heard people who go there say it's the thing that like kind of blows their mind the most, is just how absolutely hilly it is. How incredibly hilly it is. And you're old enough to remember that there was a time, folks, where we were going to be watching all of our television wearing 3D glasses. Mm-hmm. And the one thing that I thought the 3D was very cool on was golf.
Yeah.
Because you actually got a sense of just how steep the hills were, like going up 18 at Augusta. And that was pretty cool. You just can't get it kind of without it, unfortunately.
Muirfield's like that in Columbus. I think unless you've been to Muirfield, and a lot of folks here have as patrons or fans or whatever, but like if you've never walked that course or you've only seen it on television, obviously it's not as famous and familiar as Augusta, but it's one that on television, I don't know if you realize how much up and down it is until you get there and you played it, and then you're like, oh,
especially
everything
like
is this.
15, 16, 17, and 18 are nuts.
They're nuts. Yeah. Yeah. And even the walk down 9 to 10, up to 10T, and then down and across. You got to hit it over, and then you're down.
But then you're back up.
And you're right back up. I mean,
and 9 is
9 straight down. Yeah. So you go straight down, then straight back up. So there's fatigue to it that you don't normally see.
There is a fatigue. But it affected me there. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I believe it. But I think like this thing, I'm watching this morning, and I'm a sucker for it. Like I'm watching Jack and Gary Player and Tom Watson hit their first tee shots this morning with Fred Ridley, could have been the MC, the boss man at the Masters in 1977 in that exact same look, haircut, jacket, all of it. Time stood still for Fred Ridley.
Yeah.
He's exactly the same.
Yeah, it's awesome. That's traditions that stand the test of time are very cool because they are the traditions.
You have to fiercely protect them.
You have to. Yes, you do.
Because they have
safely aboard.
Fiercely protected them there.
Safely aboard.
That's right. That par 3 contest yesterday.
So cool.
With the kids caddying.
Okay.
Like all that stuff. Like it's just.
Obviously, you saw Rory's daughter's putt.
Yeah.
That putt is a one. They could have had a lot of the pros there with one ball, one shot at it, and they could have all missed.
Yeah.
I mean, the putt almost came to a complete stop, not even halfway there.
That's right. Yeah.
It's incredible.
It is. Yeah.
It is. I was trying to convey to Miss K and my kids. I'm like, you guys, this is a 1 out of 100 putt, and that's probably being generous. Like for people who haven't played at Augusta, like it's not like she's there working the practice greens, getting a feel for the speed.
No.
She's out there for one shot, and this is what she produced. That's one of the most. That putt looked. It'd be like being above the pin to the right on 16, trying to putt down that hole. When Tiger like chipped that one in where it was almost stopped, and then it went in. Even at Augusta.
Or at Augusta, yeah.
And it stops, and then it goes like basically straight down the ramp, and then ends up picking up all the speed and going. I mean, it's incredible. That was stunning.
Yeah.
She could have sat there literally the rest of the day and never made another one.
No.
From that spot.
No, could not have.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's really cool. There's a few things. NFL. You guys have been to Lambeau. I'm guessing Lambeau has that nostalgic feel. There's a lot of college football cathedrals that do. Baseball, you got Wrigley still, and you got Fenway that do. Dodger Stadium to a lesser degree, but that still has the feel of what it was.
Chavez.
There aren't many.
No,
though. There's none left in the NBA. Those are all gone.
Yeah. I thought Lambeau was really cool.
Yeah.
And it's historic. It's also weird because it's like in a neighborhood.
Yeah, like just in the middle of the neighborhood.
Like literally?
Yeah.
Like the parking, like the street is surrounded by houses, which is odd. I thought it was cool. It is not easy to necessarily navigate. Have you been there, Gibbe?
Yeah, to Lambeau?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been to Lambeau. We had like 2 preseason
Oh, we had a preseason
games,
game.
And
right.
we had a regular season.
Right, but you weren't there for that, I don't think.
Not the Christmas Day one, but we've played them.
That was 2021.
We had a regular season game. I know we did. And we had 2 preseason games there.
Yeah, we definitely had. I remember the RG3 preseason game was there.
Yeah, there was another.
We had the Christmas game. There was another one. Maybe it was because that was 21. You know what? You may have been there in 13.
Yeah.
It may have been 13 when I wasn't with you. But like, for example, you and I could not walk from the locker room to the field shoulder to shoulder.
Oh, it's one guy. Oh, jeez.
Right? Gibbe?
Correct.
Like it is.
It's that narrow.
And if you have gear on, there's no way.
Like you don't even know really, and it's old, dude.
Yeah, it's old.
It's old.
It's old place.
It's
yeah.
an old place. But that was the thing that shocked me the most. Oh my goodness! Hold on. Who has Scheffler and Spieth? Is that you?
I got Spieth.
You have Spieth. He's got Scheffler.
G-Man has Scheffler.
G-Man has
Nobody's
Scotty.
got Justin
Scotty was
Rose,
the very
huh?
first overall pick. Oh, I considered Rose. He always plays well here.
He always does.
Really nice dude.
I considered Max Homa as my. How about Freddie Couples, 1 under?
Boom, boom.
Is Matt
Always good
McCarty?
for the first
Hold on
2
a
days
second.
and then some.
Is that your dude? Matt McCarty? Is that the amateur? No. All right.
I can't even remember who the amateur.
He has like McNeely. Do you have Tomato Can McNeely?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
good.
he does. By the way,
Penrith's 2
Browns
over
at
my
Green
amateur.
Bay in 2013.
Yeah, it had to be because you go it's every 8 years
Yeah.
in the NFC. Unless now, because once they added these extra games, now you match up a little bit more frequently. But yeah, so we got Dustin Johnson, Rory Brooks, Hovland. Maybe they're not on the course yet. That's what I'm telling
Some of
myself.
those guys haven't been out there yet.
Yeah, they're not out there.
Yeah,
you're
safe.
safe.
Safe, pal.
You're
Safe.
By the way, I got
Go ahead.
real quick. I got a text from my dad
All right.
that said Amari for $100 million. Wow, did Amari sign somewhere for $100 million?
Amari who?
I'm guessing Cooper.
For $100 million?
I don't know. I'm just don't shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you it's a text I just
Who are
received.
you talking
By
to?
the way, your father,
your father?
all of the texts he gives you, all the information he gives you, I think you should just refer to it as a court recorder because it's nothing but the truth, and that's all you're getting is pure accuracy with every single syllable.
I figured that I figured it would be on Twitter and
Yeah, I think
or
we would
X,
have known that. That
all right,
would
so
be
nobody else has seen it.
Well, that would be an attention getter.
It's a
if
paid-
Amari Cooper was somehow got $100 million, and we loved him, but like $100 million contract.
So what you're saying? It's a Pedro exclusive.
That seems like a Pedro exclusive, and
There is
straight
nothing
from his
the people
sites
that would know.
from his sites that are all truthful, all truth serum sites, court recorder sites out of Pedro. Yeah, like so that's when you said
He's
Amari.
talking
I'm
about
like, is
Adam
Amari
Lazard
Stoudemire?
reworking his contract, or Alan Lazard, like to make $2.5 million this year? I think he's off by 97.5.
Like, is there? Am I missing something?
I don't know,
Is
dude. That's
Amari
what I was saying.
Amari Stoudemire going to make a return? Who's an Amari going to get $100 million?
I don't know.
What is he doing?
I don't know. He's a one of a kind. That guy. I said what? We'll see if we get a response back on air.
I'm just trying to think of all the famous Amaris. All right, top 30 visits rolling in. Amari in Hampton, the running back out of North Carolina, and the edge, Abdul Carter, visiting the Giants today. Carter will visit the Patriots on Monday and wrap things up for him. His only visits are with the top 4 teams in the draft. I like this kid a lot. Isaiah Bond, the wide receiver out of Texas.
Yeah.
He visited with the Packers yesterday, Falcons tomorrow. Jalen Reed, the Penn State safety, visiting the Eagles today. Ohio State running back Quinshon Judkins visited the Bengals yesterday. So that is the other part of that.
We have a number going on in our building today again, too.
Bunch of them, yeah.
Yeah. I got a feeling this has to be the last week for this.
I don't know. Yeah.
The fact that the number of them that are rolling in, I mean, we're averaging probably between 5 and 10 a day here.
Yeah.
I'd like my lunch hour to go back to the noon hour.
Be
It'd
nice in the
great,
noon hour,
'cause
yeah.
Eating at 11:45 is not.
That's not your sweet spot?
Nope.
Go the Frank Costanza special, lunch at 11,
Eat
dinner
breakfast
at 4.
at 9. Come on, what am I doing?
By the way, I was searching for what I could eat there. They do have a barbecue pork sandwich.
Yeah, I gave you that as one of the options.
Then
Those are the
missed it.
3.
I'd
it
eat
was
that in a
egg
I'd eat
salad, pimento, barbecue pork are the 3.
Then I'm fine. I don't eat protein bars.
I got a review. I got a buddy this morning. I was talking about it, and I got a guy on social photoed what came in the box and kind of gave me. He said it was great. He uses the egg salad and the pimento on Ritz crackers for like a snack, and then day 2 he started with breakfast with an egg salad, and then. Not egg salad, brother,
dude.
Then he was saving the pork for his afternoon snack.
It's an excellent source of protein. Man.
There's a part of me
eggs,
though
but
that
I love
feels like You also have to be concerned about your fellow man. Like, unless he's armed with gum and mints, which he should be if you're going out into society, like, you're just going to be throwing egg salad in people's faces? Like, are you nuts?
Here's the other thing.
I think it's possible
best,
that nobody hates eggs like you. I've never had anybody who hates eggs like
egg
you.
salad
This
is best
egg salad
served
smells like
cold.
sulfur.
And mayo.
Hard-boiled
Like-
eggs smell like sulfur. Let's all just let's be
That's
honest
true.
about it.
No. That is
So,
true.
like, imagine if your
I am
breath
not a
was
fan of
sulfur.
that.
Sulfur, that's not great. Yeah. Yeah, you get and you don't like a deviled egg or any of that business. It's all negative. All because I always like envision it. You know, there was a movie in the 90s that Michael Caine was in with. It was not a fun movie. It was called Tobey Maguire, The Cider House Rules.
Oh,
So, do you remember this movie?
Oh, yeah.
It's about
I
an
did a
orphanage
premiere
in
of it.
Maine. Okay. In my head, every time I hear like the hard-boiled egg for you,
Yeah?
it's you in an orphanage in Maine and like having like nuns going, "Eat your egg, Nathan."
Yes, it was like
"Eat your egg."
It was like
Nathan."
1923. I was like the girl.
Oh my god!
Smacking me with
the egg and then
rulers.
they put you in the
Yeah.
in the house.
My parents had to finally intervene. I'm throwing up everywhere, crying every day. I don't want to go to school
It's
because I won't
outrageous.
eat this egg.
It's outrageous.
You will eat the egg. No, I don't want to.
That's how it. I don't want to eat the egg. I ate it yesterday.
You'll eat it and you'll like it.
What
No, I
for?
won't. Blah. Blah.
No salt and pepper. Nothing. Just here's an egg.
It's the worst.
It's justified. Your hatred of it. It's very much like my bird trauma. It's justified. Real quick, T.J. Watt. Anything of that?
He doesn't do things like that for.
Typically not.
No, I think he's retiring. Sad.
Maybe Pedro will have that story.
Enough from the clouds. It's weird how much I hate eggs and mayonnaise. Mayonnaise I just don't like. Eggs it was a trauma.
Yeah, the trauma leads to it. I think it's much justified.
The smell
When you hear the
is a
story
trigger.
of what caused it.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
I think so too.
All right, we'll have a little fun.
Just
Keep
like
you
a nice
updated
little pop in a picture. Justified.
on the Masters. We got some mock drafts. We'll take a look at these. We got the mailbag, kids. The mailbag is open. The mailbag is open. This is a real treat. So in advance of the April 19th game between Miami and the Columbus Crew at Huntington Bank Field, we will be joined next by one of my all-time favorites, Columbus Crew legend, current head of Crew player engagement. He's the great Dante Washington. He joins us coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, presented by Bally Bet, official sports betting partner of Cleveland Browns on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, welcome back in. Cleveland Browns Daily, presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. We know that on April 19th, Huntington Bank Field, you will get the Columbus Crew against Inter Miami. This is exciting. Kickoff 4:30. Some tickets still available. Go to huntingtonbankfield.com/events to scoop those up. This is a surreal one, though, because the man seated to my right is Dante Washington. He's the current Crew head of player engagement. I have known this fine gentleman for, 17 years or so, probably something like that, dating ourselves back to the old Crew Extra days. He's a former member of the U.S. national team and played for the Crew, a legend for the Crew as well. He is from the Baltimore area, and I must start, and this will be a joke that only you will get him, about 6 more people in our audience who cross over. Have you seen The Wire yet?
I finally did.
Yes!
And I thought of you as I was watching it.
I feel like that's an essential.
And did I deliver?
Yeah.
It's an incredible show.
Yeah. But I hadn't seen it
Yes.
for years.
So we'd do this bit. He'd come on, and I would say, "Have you seen The Wire?" And he would say, "No." And I would just not talk to him.
That's it. Yeah.
But now you have.
It was fantastic.
Top 10 show of all time, I would say.
I think
that's pretty comfortable.
That's comfortable on that. This is pretty cool what's coming on the 19th, buddy.
Yeah.
To do it up here, to do these 2 teams specifically, 2 of the real benchmarks teams in the league.
Yeah. I mean, anyone who's familiar with the game knows the Crew.
Yep.
The past few years especially. Mm-hmm. The way that we play, our style of play, is very unique, and we've been successful. The people who aren't as familiar obviously are going to be paying attention now because of Lionel Messi and some of the other guys that he has on the team at Inter Miami. On top of it, 2 teams at the top of Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
2 dominant teams the past couple of years, so it should be a pretty fun event.
As you said, it is the Crew in first, Inter Miami in second, a big match, a lot of stars, and a big crowd expected there. The 60,000 people would be incredible. What's that like? How different is that from playing in the MLS stadiums and then being like, okay, now we're playing almost more in a World Cup type of a stadium?
Yeah, I was telling some people earlier, once you know that there are more people in the building, you get the blood in your veins get moving a little bit more. Yeah, that juice is flowing a lot. It just adds to the excitement. Obviously, we're hoping for a very pro Crew environment, give us that even bigger home field advantage, because when you play us at Laura.com Field in Columbus, it's a tough place to play. So we're looking to continue that here in another week or so.
Yeah, I've always felt that, and unique experience with this, and that I do this here, and then I do morning stuff in Columbus, and
Yes.
I always felt that the 2 cities had an incredible bond. And I think that crosses over with what we do primarily here, which is talk about the Cleveland Browns. Columbus is 100% a Browns town. It's not close. And I think when the Haslam ownership group, in conjunction with Dr. Pete, came together to buy the Crew, the one thing that seemed so natural to me was for that to continue. What have you all done to open Northeast Ohio up and make sure that road down 71 north and south is one that is connected?
Well, I think this is one of the major steps. If we get kind of granular into what I used to work on, was in charge of all of our youth soccer partnerships and youth soccer business. And part of what we do is we have partners up here in the Cleveland area, Toledo, and even a little bit further north. We really want to own Columbus up. There are territorial restrictions that you have within MLS. And for us, really, it's about owning all of Ohio, except for kind of Dayton and Cincinnati. They can have it, and they can have Kentucky too.
Yeah. Cincinnati's Kentucky, so it doesn't matter.
It pretty
They
much
can have it. Yeah.
So for us, it's about extending everything north to really put a stamp for the Crew in pretty much the entire state.
Yeah.
It's got to help. You got some Northeast Ohio natives on the team, St. Ed's, Olmsted Falls, Concord, University of Akron, all represented. For those guys, cool to get to play in Cleveland, right? And also it should help that local connectivity you're talking about.
Absolutely. I would not want to be our team admin who's trying to figure out how many tickets these guys are going to get, because they're all going to be arm wrestling to get their more than allotted tickets. I'm sure they're going to be buying a lot of tickets. But, I mean, yeah, when talking to some of the guys who, I talked to Darlington, talked to Sean, who grew up here, Evan, Bush, to be able not only to play for your hometown team playing in Columbus,
Sure,
who you grew up watching Sean played in our academy. To be able to do it even closer to home has got to be a really cool feeling. And, I know they're all Browns fans too, so you got that element too of playing inside the stadium. So I say being from Maryland, as you said, I never got to play for DC United and play in front of my friends and family. Got to play there with the crew and when I was with Dallas, but it's much different when it's your hometown club that you grew up loving.
The other part of this, and I mean, this is I'm trying to think when did Beckham first come to MLS with LA Galaxy, like mid-2000s?
Yeah, I think it was like 06, 07, somewhere around there.
I asked because there was, for the longest time, there were, players who made their hay and their foundation and the primes of their career in Europe, and then Beckham was kind of the first, and then Drogba, a bunch of them did. Messi came here after winning the cup. If this, sure, maybe not apex, but still right near it, and was the best player in a World Cup, and then he came. What have you guys seen, as someone who's been around the MLS as long as you have, and his Inter Miami team will be here on the 19th, what has this been like, having the preeminent superstar of the last half century in this league still at the back end of his prime?
Well, it used to be called the Retirement League back in the day, and I think we've kind of shed that stereotype because you're beginning to see guys come and, no, he's not at the prime of his career, but if he's not at the prime of his career, thank goodness
he's still pretty darn good.
Even ugly, but he's still a very, very good player.
Yeah.
And you're seeing other players come over as well who are, again, maybe not at their prime, but there's some like Cucho. We had him come, and we've now seen him going on to having some success in Spain, and other players from other teams going to different countries across the world. So it's great to have someone like that playing here in the U.S. As you said, we had Beckham. It's similar to the Pele effect way back in the NASL days, where they're going to draw a lot of attention, probably drawing the people who may not normally be paying attention. But then also it's, as a kid, who, if Messi's their idol, to be able to come to Cleveland and see your idol play, who you probably would never been able to see, is an experience.
Yeah.
And if it inspires another kid to then want to become the next, I won't even say Messi because that's impossible, right?
Yeah, right.
But if it just inspires them to be the best version of who they are, then let's go.
Let's go is right. The Crew, Inter Miami, April 19th at Huntington Bank Field, 4:30 p.m. It will get underway. You can buy tickets and ticket packages at huntingtonbankfield.com/events. So you said at the beginning, the Crew has played kind of a unique style, only team that's won multiple cups in the 2020s. What is that style that they play? Right, it looks to me, and I'm just looking at it right here, only 5 goals allowed. That's the fewest in the entire conference. So I would imagine good defense is a foundation.
Yeah, I think it starts with players being able to play within the system, but also be able to express themselves. We will have a risky type of style, so you'll see it around the world. You'll even see it where they're starting to do it at the youngest age groups. I coach both of my daughters are playing U12 and U14, and you'll see kids and teams trying to play out of the back, have possession from your goalkeeper to your defenders and forward. A lot of teams try to do that, but we are going to play the same way at home. We're going to play the same way away. It doesn't matter. We're going to keep that same style. We're going to get down your throats. We're going to press at times. We'll throw some things in here and there to change things up, which I think Wilfried does a great job of doing in game. If you're watching him on the sidelines, he will call a guy over and he'll have the board, and he'll be showing instructions of the different things that he wants to move around. But we're also a little bit risky when we're playing out of the back. We will draw in the offense for us to play ourselves out. The way the thought process behind that, the more that you can attract, if you can break those lines, then you will have hopefully the numerical advantage going to goal.
Yeah, and for those folks who are just jumping on the bandwagon, like, the Crew forever. The mantra was hardest working team and all of that, but really one of the smartest teams. You mentioned Cucho Hernandez, Zelarian. Like, you guys find talent young, and Wilfried's a big part of that. Wilfried Nancy, the manager, is just incredible. But it's a great operation. It's going to be fun to share it up here, buddy. Yeah. It's great seeing you.
You too.
It's great seeing you. Great Dante Washington
thanks for
joining
coming
us. Columbus Crew alum, a former U.S. national team member, and current head of player engagement. It is the Crew. It is Inter Miami. It is 4:30 on April 19th, Huntington Bank Field. You can get those tickets at huntingtonbankfield.com/events. Dante, thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Always good seeing you. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
You're up.
Add more fun to your fandom with the Ballybet Sportsbook app. Download today, $50 in bonus bets. You place that first wager of 10 or more. Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Did you see any of the Luka stuff last night?
Yeah, so I watched the video, his reaction to it, and then the highlights, obviously, of him dropping 31 in the first half while the crowd chanted "Fire Nico," and it was kind of a surreal scene. And maybe we'll see something like this again, but it's kind of hard for me to think of that we will.
I asked you the question because that's exactly where I was going. Big B, job out of you. I've never seen anything like that flex, not pop.
That was a flex.
I've never seen anything like that previously, and I don't know if we'll ever see it again, because typically when you have a player in their prime leave, it is of their accord, their wishes, i.e. LeBron. There's a bunch of them. I could not, and I've been trying to think of this since last night while I was watching it, because it was nuts. Like, he's in tears at the video. He then lights them up. They're cheering everything he does. They gave out T-shirts saying "Welcome back" or "Thank you." I don't know Slovenian, so I'm not sure what
I think
it
it was saying.
Was it "Thank you, Luka"? Or
G-Man, what did those shirts say?
G-Man Slovenian?
What?
Thanks for
everything.
Okay,
Yeah,
so like they gave honorary shirts. They played the video. The crowd is all in Dončić jerseys, either Lakers or Mavericks. They're cheering for him. He goes out and goes for third. Like, is there another example of an athlete who was traded at or near his apex? And
people forget they went to the finals last
year.
He is
Yes.
5 straight all first
he's
team NBAs,
27.
and he's 20.
Like,
yes.
What are we doing? So like, and it's their choice.
Their choice.
It's the old Seinfeld with the pianist. I'm breaking up with you.
No, I'm breaking up with you.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Yes.
So
they dumped him
I don't know. Did Joe play in San Francisco
with the Chiefs?
I know he played the Niners, but was it at Candlestick? Oh, man. That was not of his choosing. He was still very good.
Yeah, and he beat them.
He beat them. He was not in his prime the way Luka was, but he was certainly had good years left. And
it might not have been. It might have been in.
Might have been in Kansas City. I don't know that he ever returned.
Faced the Niners at
It was in
Arrowhead.
Kansas
It was called
City.
the game of the century. Yeah, and Joe outdueled him. Duh.
And it was in Kansas City at Arrowhead.
Yeah, you know how many picks Steve Young threw? 2. By the way, all we do, we're watching Dion highlights the other day, and it's all nothing but Steve Young throwing picks to him.
So that one I thought of, but Joe never played.
No.
I thought of Bernie, but Bernie never had a start here.
No.
Did Bernie ever return here as a player?
No.
Other
That's
than
also,
one-
but again, both
I don't
of
think
these,
so.
the other difference in both of those is that's not prime.
No.
It would be like as if
I know.
they traded Montana in like 86.
I'm trying to find something prime adjacent, brother.
prime adjacent. Yeah. I like that.
I don't know that there
No.
is.
No.
The only
No.
other one I could think of was when Jordan returned with the Wizards to the Bulls, because there was a sense at that time that the only reason Jordan retired because Jerry Krause wanted to build the team in his own vision, was not bringing back Pippen, and that Jordan wasn't really done, but he didn't want to play with, a rebuild. And so Jordan retired and then ended up coming back. And I remember him. This is how I remember it in my mind's eye. I don't remember what's true about this, but in my head, Jordan returned. Ray Clay was the legendary voice of the Bulls. 6'6" from North Carolina, that whole thing. That he wanted to do that, and like Reinsdorf said no to it, and then maybe they ended up doing it anyway. I remember there being controversy about how he was introduced, but again, that's not even really prime adjacent. That's just Jordan a couple years later returning with the Wizards. I got nothing on in your prime. Organization says we're breaking up with you.
So Michael Jordan played his first 13 NBA seasons with the Bulls, won 6 championships. When he retired for the second time in 98, many thought it was for good. Then he made a comeback as a member of the Wizards. On January 19th, 2002, Jordan returned to play in Chicago, but in a different uniform. Now, if this doesn't tell you that the NBA is a little bit different now, 23 years later, the Wizards beat the Bulls that night 77-69. That might be a first half score.
Yeah, that would be, yeah.
I don't understand how all of a sudden teams are scoring like it's the Paul Westhead
It's just, I think
Denver Nuggets.
It's the lack of physicality, and it's the shooting. It's the threes.
So 3-pointers.
It's the threes. They shoot 50, 60 threes.
But he came back, First game played at the United Center. He played at the now demolished. So it wasn't even the same building. New building, same crowd packed the rafters, stood by Jordan. Crowd started the whole thing. They all, they loved him. Tons of adulation. But again, I think it's different. It doesn't say if what the announcer did or didn't. We have a YouTube we can watch because they have that. There's
that introduction.
Yeah.
I remember there being some controversy about the guy who was the voice of the starting lineups, and I think he inevitably got fired by the Bulls, if memory serves.
Yeah.
But I don't know if this was the part of it. But I remember there being some controversy, like, are they going to let him introduce him the way they introduced him when he was with the Bulls?
Which they should have.
Which we can't even have anymore as a quick side because they do all those stupid videos forever.
Yeah.
And so you don't even get to hear the announcements anymore.
Yeah.
The way that you used to, which I think sucks.
It used to be amazing.
Yeah.
Was anybody here at LeBron's first game back after the decision? Okay. Yeah, that was not the Luka experience.
I was scared that something violent would happen, truly. I mean, people laugh at it. I was legitimately scared that something violent would happen to him, that some fan was going to do something
Gibbe was
stupid.
on the list of people.
Of course he was. I'm surprised the detectors even let him in the building.
I was on media.
So
I was working for ESPN, the mothership.
I was doing a live shot for the CBS affiliate in Columbus, and I did the live shot, and afterwards the main anchor, guy named Jerry Revish, legend, asked me, he said, well, what was that like in there? And I said, honestly, it was a little bit like if you were in ancient Rome and it was the Colosseum and the gladiator was standing out there and they unleashed a pack of lions and everybody rooted for the lions. I've never felt vitriol like that ever, not before or since, not anywhere, ever. It made me uncomfortable. What was your experience like?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was
awful. I did not enjoy it. And then it was over. Like, Dan was sitting courtside, and then, like, all of a sudden it was like, oh, yeah, we don't have LeBron, and they do, and this is going to go really poorly. And it did. I mean, they annihilated. And
boat raced, and by the midway point of the second quarter, you could go
done.
Home. And you could be home by the time halftime was over.
Yeah, it was over. It was like, okay, well, then it just became sad. It went from, like, very angry to then just incredibly sad and, like, the realization of, like, he's not for you anymore. Yeah.
So somebody was saying that the deadpan voice of the stadium announcer, bucket after bucket, Miami up 20 early, and just hearing LeBron James, like him with no inflection, anything. I don't think.
What do you remember about it?
That it was what it felt to me like was being at a wrestling show where a heel has done a great job and like people are legitimately there to see him get his butt kicked. And him winning is not an option. He must lose. The crowd is like heat, like real, genuine, passionate heat that you would usually not reserve for a stranger in your life. That's what it felt like. That was like he was as big a villain, and it was like it felt that's trying to even put. So it was like when John Cena was the champion at the ECW One Night Stand.
Okay.
And so that was at the Hammerstein Ballroom. It was a crowd of ECW original fans. They're on top of the ring. And John Cena was everything that they hated in wrestling. And like they were there to see him. I remember he would do a thing where he would get in the ring and he would take his shirt off and he'd throw it in the crowd. And
yeah,
you know, plenty of people booed John Cena, but everybody was thrilled to have that shirt. They threw it back in the ring like 5 times. And he kept throwing, and then eventually was like, okay.
All right, I guess we're
just not going to do this. I mean, they were there for blood, and that's what it felt like. People were there to see LeBron bleed and suffer, and they did not get to see that.
No, they did not. Gibbe?
That's really, I don't know why it just popped in my head. That's what it was. It was big-time wrestling.
Yeah.
Legit heel heat where people were incensed and were there to see that person bleed.
That's what it felt. That's, yeah.
The security, like at an unprecedented level.
Yeah.
The number of plainclothes, the number of people that were in the rafters from a security standpoint.
Yeah.
Basically snipers.
Yeah.
Like it was
uneasy. I did not like it.
No, it was.
There was a strong. I remember, like, we were down courtside, and then I was like, I want to be higher up here. I don't need to be down here.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of people that want to be down here, and maybe some of them don't want to be down here for the right reasons. And there's some. There were federal agents. They pulled a lot of people, and I'm like, I don't want to look at the wrong person wrong here.
Yeah, right.
Because it's going to become a very big problem real quick.
Well, I remember there were chants. People were throwing things at various points. They were using the video board to like get you very fired up.
It was the whole Cleveland
Against
pep
the
rally
world.
before the game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I remember it was Joe Hayden and Drew Carey and
Bernie.
All those people like brought out sat courtside. It was like
Travis Hafner, Drew
Yeah.
Carey, and then Gilbert came in last.
It was
like a wrestling. Like
it was like that.
It was like a wrestling fight. Except it obviously was not. What's crazy is I'm reading an article right now from 2018 on ESPN, and it's LeBron's talking about it. The Heat, by the way, entered that game at 11-8. They would win 19 of their next 20. The Cavs were 7-10. They would lose 35 of their next 36.
Yeah.
After that.
Oh, it was awful.
It was a catalyst for the Heat.
Here's what LeBron says. It was something that nobody had ever seen before. Everybody knew the emotions behind it. Cable television made sure they captured every moment. It was an eerie feeling just going back. It was an uncomfortable feeling going back because of the situation. I knew how up in bunches everybody was. The only thing I was talking about was how can I play well. I wanted to play well more than anything. I knew that I had a group of guys that were going to ride for me that night no matter what. That was just the makeup of our club. I wasn't worried about it, but it was an eerie night. Once I hit the court, I was in my safe haven. Once I hit the court in warm-ups, you could hear the boos. It was probably the loudest I've ever heard boos in my life. I felt the animosity. I felt the scrutiny. But once the ball was tipped, I was in my safe haven. There's nothing can stop me from trying to be the best I can be. I mean, I'll never forget it. I'll never forget both instances. I'll never forget December 2nd, 2010. I'll never forget us winning the championship in 2016 in that parade. Those are two things that will always be instilled in me for the rest of my career. It's both the negative and the positive side, but it's something that I definitely don't forget.
But he brought the negative upon himself.
Here's what Udonis Haslem said. Of course he did. Here's what Udonis Haslem said, who is a formidable human. He said, nobody liked it. There was a lot of negative, very bad energy in the building that night. We knew it was real, but once you got in there, you could feel it. You got nobody but your brothers, and it's you against literally everybody else in that arena. He says, it helped them bond together, and they got stronger. He goes, but it was pure negativity. If I was out in the street and felt that, I would have been very nervous.
Same. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was. I remember his availability afterwards. He was kind of shook by all of it. And I think it kind of, in a way, like it was he was very naive in thinking that he could leave that way, that he used the boys and girls as the cover and all of that stuff.
That was just
he had every right to leave. He had he'd given you everything. Like you're not locked into play for any place for your entire career, right? Like you're not. And so he had every right to leave. But the way that he left was just such a tough thing, and the embarrassment that stained everybody with it. And then it to have it all, it's such a complicated relationship between him, because then he delivered on all of it. He came back and he gave you 4 years of his prime, including the first 7 or 8 or whatever it was of his prime before. So you got that, you got the championship, and now when he comes back, it's great. He's cheered and it's fine. You do all those things. Well, I know he doesn't, but like he was also probably at the parade. But the reality is that
I had to cover the parade. It was a work event.
I'll tell you this though, like imagine if Dan Gilbert traded LeBron.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
That's 100%.
That's what this was.
That's the difference. Hold on, I have 2 more quotes because some of these are crazy. This is a cool article, by the way. Happy to post
Who wrote
it? It was written by Dave McMenamin and Brian Windhorst.
There you go.
They 2 people that would definitely know.
They'd know.
This is Chris Bosch. He goes, man, that was, and I'll be honest, that was one of those games I was most afraid to play in my life. The only time I was ever afraid playing basketball was when I was in the 8th grade. We had a brawl with another team in a tournament, and then we had to go back and play them. But the Cleveland game, there was tension. That's the most I'll say. There was tension, but we got out of there alive. I mean, the security guy, this is a security guy saying, This is the most hate I have ever seen ever. The signs and the looks on fans' faces. We got there 3 hours before the game, and it was packed. It was loaded. So much anger in the air, so much passion. It was something else. He said, I didn't feel like we were actually ever in any danger. It's just more passionate people showing the passion, what they felt, that he left them and left Ohio for the easy way out. When I think back on it, though, just the pure hate I saw, that's the first thing I can say. I'd never seen that fashion in an enclosed arena, but we all got through it. No one got hurt. We got home, and it was great. Spoelstra said, I've never experienced, he said, the thing I remember that was unique, walking down the hallway 3 minutes before the game, I could feel and hear the intensity in the crowd. I've never experienced that at an arena. Then when I walked out of there, you could cut the tension with a knife. It was tangible. Feelings of extreme dislike. I don't want to use the word hatred, but it was extreme, ultra dislike, disappointment, frustration, all bottled up in one emotional unit. It's wrestling. That you get wrestling at its peak when it can like bring everybody in the building. That's the only time that I've ever felt hate like that was in a wrestling show. And people know that is not real.
Yeah, right.
But it's real.
Yeah, but in this instance,
this is
all real.
All real.
I would say this, and I don't think I'm far off in saying it. Like, if Dan Gilbert had traded LeBron, I don't know if the Cavs are here still.
I think you're right.
I think the vitriol and the boycotting and how it goes down, I'm not sure the franchise is here.
That's why when I'm watching this thing last night, I'm watching these faces of these people. Like as Luka they let him get a curtain call. Like
sure,
he played they're up 15 and he was brilliant, and 45 or whatever he ended up with, and 31 at half. And JJ Redick subbed him. They called a timeout, and then he went back out there. It was 110-94, and then he subbed him out by himself. And they're giving him, everybody standing ovation, going nuts. He's doing all of it in Dallas, and then I saw the look on a guy's face. He just is shaking his head, and it's just like, what's the road back from that? How can you go forward as like with that Nico Harrison guy, Jason Kidd, all of them? They gotta go. You can't.
Nico's got to be fired.
They all have to go. Anyone who had any decision on it has to go. Like, you can't come back from it.
No.
So Nico, so I'll use one more wrestling analogy, which I think people will enjoy. So there's like real heat, which is like LeBron had real heat, and there's definitely some people who were not happy at all with Nico, but he has like go away heat. That's like when X-Pac was at, I would call his nadir. He had go away heat. Like as soon as he came out, it's like boo, like I never want to have to see you again.
Yeah.
I never have. And X-Pac turns out to be a tremendously kind human being, great guy. But nonetheless, that's what they were saying towards it was like love for Luka and like, dude, you ruined it. Like, get out of here. Like, be gone. Yeah. You shouldn't even be in the arena tonight.
Leave.
Quite frankly. And I don't think he should be. I don't think he should have been in the arena that night. I think he should have been not there.
No. So this is
the first guy one of the first people to hug him after the game ended, and the players all hugged it out. Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban said if he still was involved, he's not.
Would not have happened.
Wouldn't
It
have
would
happened.
have never happened.
No.
So I got this on social. We all did. AZ Browns fans. The only thing I compare it to is Wayne Gretzky returning to Edmonton after he traded to L.A. Now, the perception around that one is he had married an actress and that she did not want to live in Edmonton. That was kind of the way it was spun at that time. But there was an incredible there's a 30 for 30 called The Trade that documents it. And I'll just read this really quickly. 2 hours after the Oilers won the Cup in '88, Gretzky learned from his father that the Oilers were planning to deal him to another team. Walter Gretzky had known for months after having been tipped off, but kept the news quiet so Wayne would not be upset. According to Walter, Wayne was also being shopped to Los Angeles, Detroit, Vancouver. Plockington needed money as his other business ventures were not doing well, so the then owner of Edmonton. But Gretzky got a lot of heat because they thought it was his relationship to his wife, but Gretzky was really not involved with that at all. It was money.
Financial thing.
Yeah, so he was traded to the Kings for some players and $15 million in cash. So that's the way that one worked. So that's probably whatever that. But here's the thing: I don't know. I don't know how much of that. How did everybody know that at the time?
No,
because I remember his wife getting a big brunt. Jen Jones got a big hit from that. She was an actress. She was in. She's in Police Academy 4.
Oh, baby.
Love the Police Academy. I think
fine films.
Is Mahoney involved in that? I can't remember. Feel like he would need to be. Yeah.
By 4? I don't know.
He may have bounced after 4. They did a bunch of them. Yeah.
Let's see.
I think it was like Operation Miami or something like that she was in. Janet Jones. is the name on that. So there you go. Yeah, it was surreal. It was surreal last night, and I just felt sick for him. Like the circumstances aren't the same, but like if Nick Chubb is a starting running back against us next year, I don't need that.
No.
And this isn't the same because you have injuries and all of that, but beloved guy, like it's tough.
Police Academy 4, Citizens on Patrol. God. It does have
Maybe
Mahoney.
Is that Janet Jones or is it 5 that has her?
So this is going to have, I'm going through the cast quickly here. This is going to have Corrine Bower, Gutenberg, David Spade's in it. Moses Bubba Smith's in it. Bobcat Goldthwait. Michael Winslow, who's the guy who can do all the boom David Graff. I'm looking.
She is not. She is in 1988's Police Academy 5, Assignment Miami Beach.
All right, so you had Miami, right? Yeah,
Miami Beach.
You had it.
Yeah, she was in the Flamingo Kid. There you go.
Yep,
and American Anthem as well.
Mahoney's gone.
Mahoney's gone, but 4 is his last one.
That's it. This got a 4.6 out of 10.
That
feels
right.
generous.
They need at least 5 more points.
Yeah, that feels pretty generous.
You're a little off.
9.6 out of 10 on any Police Academy movie. Those are undefeated.
If you mean out of 5,
no.
I wonder if I should watch those with the boys and see what they think of Police Academy.
They don't. You don't get comedy.
You don't make them
you
like
don't get
that anymore.
comedies like that anymore.
You don't make them like that anymore,
No, it's
kids.
actually
I'll
sad.
tell you that.
It's very sad.
All right, second hour of the program up next. Don't forget the mailbag is open. We will get to that coming up in about a half hour. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Looking for more ways to connect with the Dog Pound and spoil a furry friend in your life? Join the Barking Backers presented by Milkbone, the Cleveland Browns fan club for Dogview membership options. And join today, barkingbackers.com. This is a real headline. This is we'll get into the mock draft stuff in just a second, but this is from On3, recruiting site. Tennessee, like the Volunteers, and Nico Amalieva are in active contract negotiations ahead of the 2025 season, Peter Nekos reports. It is unclear if the negotiations will impact whether he enters the spring transfer portal. Nico is the quarterback that allegedly he was the $8 million quarterback from California who started this year and played very well for Tennessee. He played in the game against Ohio State, took a beating, and I get a lot of credit for him. He kept getting up. But this is for the folks who think sometimes the NFL is chaotic. He is negotiating whether or not they will compensate him enough to play quarterback for them next year. They've already paid him, and now he says, I'm worth more now.
They've already done their recruiting for this year.
They've done all of it. Yeah. Now there's a portal that's coming up. It opens the 16th. Spring transfer portal opens up. But, he's been compensated. He's a starting quarterback at Tennessee, and he's saying, there are people in the country who are offering me more. Can you match? That's what's happening. And guess what? He could do this again in December. That's what's college football right now.
And that's why
crazy.
It's a wasteland.
It's just, and it's funny. People, I get this all the time. I'm not going to watch anymore. These, nonsense.
Yes,
You're watching in
course.
droves,
and it just has created. Which was even. I have no problem. I love college football is great, and the pageantry and all of that is great. And it got to the point even before NIL, but I think it's more so now. But it got to the point where, for whatever reason, whether that was the alumni networks, because things were going on under the table forever,
for sure, but not to this.
And the players didn't have the leverage to do it. Now the players have the leverage.
The players really had no power once they were signed. It was up to the coaches. Once you signed, it's up to me to let you out of your letter of intent. It's up to me. If you want to transfer, fine, but you got to sit out a year.
Yeah.
Now they can transfer and play anytime
whenever they want.
They
should
a year.
Eliminate that.
It's crazy.
If you
There's
pay
no
somebody
contract.
money, which the NIL is, they should at least have to be there for 2 years. And if they want to go sit out, they got to sit out a year. If they want to transfer,
do you know why it won't?
Because the players have all the leverage.
Because the NCAA and the presidents continue to refuse to call them what they are, and they want them to be student athletes.
No,
and so the problem
they're professionals.
with they should just call them that, and it can collectively bargain, and then there's contracts, and then you get control back. But until you do that, you can't, because what you just described, if that same exact scenario happened, and your son or daughter was in the band at Ohio State, say they were a drummer in the band, and they were on a music scholarship at Ohio State, and they were making money on the side playing in a band on campus.
Yep.
And then they got an offer to go play for another band at the University of Tennessee. And, hey, there's a little bit more money here. I'm in Nashville, closer to Nashville. I can maybe get to Nashville from Knoxville, play some gigs. That's a win. I'm going to go down there and play. There's nothing stopping you from doing it.
Yep.
So why is a football player different than a drummer?
They're not.
Not in the eyes of the NCAA, they're not.
In that.
If they ever just call them what they are.
Then they would be.
Yeah. And that's the shame. They just won't do it.
Here's the other thing: is nobody's paying a trombone player, even if they were trombone shorty.
Well, maybe
trombone shorty, maybe, but maybe not in college. They were saying, "Hey, come, you got to be in our band."
No, but
I'd have been happy to accept that.
The problem is you can't work
as a trombone.
You can't have the money. The money's irrelevant. The size of the money is irrelevant. It's the opportunity.
Yeah.
And they just have to, if you are going to continue to say they're student athletes first, and you have to treat them just like every other student, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
And the reality is none of them are students. There's no way. No way.
No.
So, all right. But I thought that was fascinating. That's how crazy that is. A couple of mock drafts have dropped. Here's the newest from Mel Kiper at number 2, the Browns selecting Travis Hunter. From Kuiper, I debated Hunter versus Abdul Carter. Hunter is a special prospect in so many ways. He checked a big box for the Browns, mainly as a receiver. Hunter has a wow factor to his game. Could use his speed, ball skills, instinct, and elusiveness to become an impact player right out of the gates. We agree.
Of course we agree.
At 31, he has us taking quarterback Tyler Shuck out of Louisville. Kuiper writes, Deshaun Watson is out with a re-torn Achilles. Kenny Pickett is the only other quarterback on the Browns roster. These things are facts. That's me, not him. Shuck has the arm strength to drive the ball in the Cleveland weather. Hey, we're going to get a dome. And he looks the part at 6'5", 219. Some evaluators will be concerned about his age. He is 26 this year, but the flip side of that is his experience. He's thrown nearly 1,000 passes over 43 games. He could compete with Pickett for starts. They're about the same age, two of them.
Yeah, they are. I'm ready for the draft.
Unfortunately, we still have 2.5 weeks, brother.
Well,
Well, you don't.
no.
I guess I have a week and a half. You've got a little less. We have a 7-round mock from Chris Trapasso of CBS Sports. He did everything. So he's got Travis Hunter at 2, which feels consensus.
Yep.
I actually saw this from Charles Robinson. He did like a quarterback prediction like in March, and he predicted us with Cam Ward. And now he's switched it to Cam Ward, Tennessee. He said Tennessee is taking Cam Ward. Charles Robinson doesn't throw that around. So, like, everything you're hearing on that appears to be coming true. And he said the only trade partner, and that would take something to very much change, would be Cousins to the Browns. But that's the only other change he would make to his quarterback predictions. And at that point, he had Shedeur going to the Saints. He had Rodgers to the Steelers. Like, all the rest of them he nailed. So the two that he would flip is just Cam Ward going to Tennessee instead of us, and then us getting Cousins via trade. But he said it would take a Hail Mary from the Browns at this point. I don't think they're willing to do it.
So did you see McShay's today?
Go ahead.
So McShay, and we need an updated trade chart because this feels significant to me. So in McShay's latest, he has the Browns taking Travis Hunter at 2.
Okay.
Then we trade up to number 15 and take Shedeur, and we give up 33, 67, and a 26 second-round pick.
Sheesh.
Let's see. Let me try to pull this up here. Let me get an updated trade chart. So
15 is the Falcons pick at 15.
Yep.
So that would mean the Saints would pass. In terms of the quarterback teams he's been linked to, the Saints would pass, the Jets would pass, Miami was a little bit. I mean, those would all pass. Obviously, the Giants would have passed on Shedeur if that's the case.
So the value of the second pick in the draft is 2,600 points.
Okay.
The value of the 15th pick in the draft, this is, again, we'll see if this is right, but is 1,050 points.
Okay.
And we're giving up 33,
Okay.
which is 580, 67, which is 255. So that is 835.
Yeah.
And you're giving up a 26-2, which, unless that's 215 points, which would be the equivalent of pick 75, I don't think it drops off
No way,
much
not
for a
that
future
much.
2.
No.
A future 2 would be at least worth, I think, an early 3 this year.
Sure.
So if that was the case, let's say it's an early 3, which would be 265. So we would be giving up
It's 1,100 to 1,050.
more value to do it.
It's not crazy though. Initially, when we did it, I thought it would be more lopsided. It's not. You're in the ballpark.
Do you want to hear from Mr. McShay on this?
Sure.
Yes.
I'm not putting out a mock with my name on it without some information. And so it would be real easy for me to just go, Mike Green, Edge, Marshall, and then have Cleveland picking at 33 and give them Tyler Shuck or Jalen Milrow. I didn't. I will never reveal sources. I'm not saying that this is what's going to happen. I'm just saying if you're a Cleveland fan, start thinking with this mentality.
That's from his podcast.
And we're hearing that people do seem to think that that is, in fact, a possibility. Okay? So, and this was a point I was making earlier. You're giving up a lot here. You're giving up what you consider to be probably 2 very good players, which would be second-round picks, and 1 third-round pick, which who knows? But you're giving up your next 2 picks in this draft. And for this draft, really what it means is you give up 33 and 67 for 15, which in theory sounds just fine. Now, I would argue that maybe you would try to come at 20 and maybe you can keep that extra second out of it and get ahead of the Steelers. But you would be getting great draft capital. So if you were to add up the second and that 15th pick, that's 3,650 points of draft capital. Whereas if you stayed there, you would have 2,600 plus, at least in this year's draft, plus another 835, which is 3,435. So that's giving you more draft capital this year doing it according to these charts. And we always say if you get the quarterback right, it's there. Now, this is where if he's good enough at 15, then he's good enough at 2. Comes into play. But if this is the stuff that they're subscribing to in terms of the values, then they're getting the player that they wanted at less than half, and they're still adding one of the 2 true blue chip players in the draft.
I'll just tell you this. If we come out and you and I are doing a show Friday after the first round of the draft, and on that show we are discussing Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders,
I'll be thrilled.
The roof ain't holding me down.
No.
I couldn't possibly care less about the trade value of the second, the third. I understand what you're doing, but
no, I'm saying,
and I understand it's to do that makes sense. Honestly, that it's actually less imbalanced than I thought it was when we were first going to do the exercise. But I don't really care. If I get quarterback of the future and I get the best weapon in the draft, I'm good. Let's go.
I'll go down Lou Groza Boulevard in the back of a pickup in a hot tub filled with au.
Careful. There are people that have said they would do things if things happen and
I'd love to be in a bath of au.
I was going to ride a steed with our boy. Why am I blanking on our guy?
Ed Oliver.
No, it was not Ed Oliver. It was Devin White. Devin White. He and I were going to ride steeds down Lou
that's right.
Yeah, I was ready to ride steeds down Lou Groza if we would have got him. So, yeah, we're ready. Au it up. Let's go.
Would you like some additional NFL news that's coming out now?
All right, go ahead.
Is it Amari? Did my dad have it?
No. There's nothing.
Amari Cooper, 2 years, $100 million.
No response at all. He's
by the way
radio silent.
His sources are perfect. I'm shocked.
There is not one insider that has anything on that.
No.
$100 million.
Amari for $100 million. What?
It's like Dr. Evil.
This out of Cincinnati.
All right.
Hamilton County Commissioner said the county asked for the state to provide $350 million for upgrades to Paycor Stadium's Ohio budget. So now they're getting into the stadium talk.
So
after what we talked about
late
last
to the
week.
game. The House budget's already passed.
Yeah, it is already passed. So
and was good for the Browns.
Their circumstances are just so different in terms of that lease. This has been a whole Florio concoction this week. This last 2 weeks, he's making this. He took an innocuous phrase from Katie Blackburn and has turned it into
leaving.
They're leaving, and now all of a sudden he's got them playing in Chicago with the Bears, the Cincinnati Bengals being the Chicago Bengals playing out of the same stadium as the Bears. What are we doing here?
Yeah,
there's silly season, and then there's this.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Just
don't ask him about Tommy DeVito's agent either.
It'll be a long 2 weeks.
Remember that?
So strange.
It's the strangest thing
That
ever.
was bizarre.
The most bizarre interview that the show has ever had.
I think it's up there. He was like Silvio Dante on Columbus Day in The Sopranos.
He was furious.
He's really, really pissed off about Columbus Day.
Yeah.
By the way,
Go ahead.
42 minutes ago,
Go ahead.
Fred Couples from 191 yards out on number 14 was second shot into the par 4.
Yellow ball, by the way.
Or second shot into the par 4 with a yellow ball. Drano.
Let's go.
For Eagle. Incredible. He was hitting, the kid would have loved it. He's hitting hybrid from 190.
Beautiful. Here is a list of professional golfers that I have had to play at least one hole, in some cases many holes of golf with. Jack Nicklaus, Fred Couples, and Davis Love.
That's an impressive list.
Davis Love built a golf course named Kinderloo Forest in Valdosta, Georgia, which was near the television station I worked at in Tallahassee.
Love, the third.
The third. So I had to do that.
Doesn't
with
feel
him.
like a barrel of laughs.
He's good.
He was good?
He's not like Freddie's electric.
Yeah.
Freddie's electric. Freddie Couples is everything you want Freddie Couples to be. He's golfing Clooney. That's what he is.
Yeah.
He's the smoothest cat ever.
Yeah.
And then Freddie built a golf course in Tallahassee called Southwood. And he had like boom tees and all this stuff.
I love
but so then I had to play in front. And then Jack, I've told that story before. But the Freddie and Davis love. And when you suck, that sucks. To have to play in front of people who are good.
I think if I was going to do a foursome of myself and then 3 other professional golfers, kind of from like the peak of their powers, that if I was putting together my dream foursome people that I would want to play with.
Can I guess it?
Sure.
John Daly.
Yep.
Tiger Woods.
Yep.
Freddie Couples.
Yeah. Well. So what happens?
Because it would be.
It would be. I mean, it couldn't be better
How's
than
that not win?
It has to win. It has to win. And I was trying to think who would be like the next one if I was like, maybe, I'd rather do.
There was a guy that was really fun on tour for a little while, Boo Weekley.
Yeah.
Remember him?
Boo Weekley, I remember his name. Yeah.
He was fun.
Yeah.
He was a really fun interview. Would probably be a very good time.
He'd be
I
a
think
good time?
Justin Thomas would be a good time. It's when he was on the mic for the those
when he was
COVID. He's pretty funny. I feel like he'd be a good time.
Yes, but like boom. I mean, I hit Lynx irons for a little while because of him.
Of course you did. Lynx Black Cat.
Yeah, Black Cat.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. That was
He
what.
was the coolest. He only won the Masters once. It's his only major.
So I worked at SkyWest Golf Course, and I was able to get. They had the only demo Black Cat they had was a 5-iron, so I ended up with that, and that was the club that I used for my golf tryout. You got to use all your clubs, but I had the 5-iron. I thought I was lacing these 5-irons. I'm like, oh, it's so buttery, it's so great, and that's when that Mike Phillips crud was like, you don't even get to try out. I don't like your swing,
Jeez.
bro.
That's
You
it.
can't break 90.
You're coming at me?
You can't
This
break
was in
90.
high school?
No, this was at college at Emory.
college.
My
He's
freshman
like-
year. My freshman year. This guy was an old Marine. Did not enjoy my zest
No.
or any of my antics.
People are always trying to squash you.
I know.
Why
sad.
can't they let you
Keep me
just
down.
go?
Let me live. Let me live. If I want to pop the try and a pick on Instagram as a 46-year-old man, let me do it.
By the way, your update.
Just admit it.
I did. I said it was a pop.
That's the same as a flex.
No, it's not.
Our boy Terrell
We've
Hatton
decided
is leading.
it's-
He's at 4 under, along with Justin Rose at 4 under as well. At Augusta, Corey Connors is a shot back at 3. Scotty Scheffler at 3. Let's see, Morikawa's at 2. He just bogeyed. Jay Day is 2 under early, so that's some of the leaders that are out there at the moment. I do like even on Masters.org, they won't even let you scroll past the first page. They're not interested in that.
Yeah. If these are flexes and these are pops, Gibbe, there's a whole world of pops that aren't flexes, but all flexes. They're pops. Boom!
It's the same thing.
All right, fine. Maybe. But I'm going to defend myself on some mix. And I will also say,
Oh, why you're
Rory
insecure
McIlroy
about it.
I'm
You're-
not.
You're in
I'm
great
not.
shape.
Where's
You're
McIlroy?
thank you, Gibbe.
taking care of
We've
yourself.
said that.
Thank
We've
you,
given
Gibbe.
you all the.
Appreciate
We've
it.
given you all that.
was
McIlroy's -1.
Okay, I need more. I need more as my first pick. I went international.
Who else did you have?
What's our standings?
I've got, why can't I access
my guy
standings?
Spieth is now 1 over.
Oh, hate to see it.
Hate to see
Yeah,
it.
how do we access the standings, G-Man?
Oberg is even.
I want to know what's going on
Hold
with
on,
team
G-Man's got it right here.
194763321. You guys all have fancy team names.
Tony
You don't know what's
how it
going
be
on
now?
with Team 981194?
No, and I want to.
Maverick McNeely's even.
That's his guy. Is that his guy?
guy.
That's
Yeah.
my guy. All right, Zagura, you're in last place.
Stop.
Sad.
You're a total +4.
Oh baby.
Tough start for DJ. He's 2 over. Taylor Pendrith. the
Pendrith's
first-timer,
killing
is
me the first timer.
5 over.
Oh my God,
Oh.
that kid. What's he doing?
Bo, you're in 3rd.
Suck.
You're a +1.
All right, Hovland is even. I mean, my heavy hitters are just getting going.
All right, I'm at +1. What else you got?
Gibbe is in 2nd. He is even. I'm in 1st. I'm 5 under.
5 under.
Yeah, dude, nonsense.
That first pick of Scheffler was solid for the.
Well,
Scotty 3 under. Corey Connors 3 under.
it's more Connors was
Connors just comes out of
unbelievable,
nowhere.
but it's your first timer. What are the first timers across?
Maverick
Why can't I see
McNeely's
everybody's
even.
team? Why can I only see your team, your league? Let's see. There we go.
my guy's 4 over. Kevin Yu is 4 over. Killing me. That's. I mean, good Lord, I'm in the mix. Other than
I'd
that.
be under par if it wasn't for my guys. 5
You'd be
over.
3 under. What are you talking about?
He's
I'd be
a
3
bum.
under. My guy's 4 under. 4 over. Guy sucks.
I apologize for Kevin's everywhere.
It's
Jeez
your fault,
Louise.
Kev.
Let's compare the roster. Rom's over.
DJ hurt you, man. He's a +2. That's not good.
Oh, wait, hold on. My
Who
team.
had Justin
my team.
Thomas? Was that me? Do I have Justin Thomas?
My team might
Did
even be
anyone
worse,
pick
guys.
Justin Thomas?
Guys, my team might even be worse.
Oh, Kepka's at 1 over.
Yeah, I'm actually worse.
Yeah, you are.
because
Then you have Justin Thomas too.
I still have DeChambeau listed on my team, but I actually have Kepka. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, Kepka's 1 over.
Well, we'll take it.
What's DeChambeau at? Where's he?
He's 2 under. So now
2 under.
So now we're talking about I'm 7 over. This team stinks. Come on, Rory.
Come on, Roars. Get it done. We'll do a little mailbag coming up next. Just to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. It's pretty good from Justin Ray Golf. Fred Couples, who was 65, carded a first-round 71 at the Masters, 42 years after he broke par here for the first time in 1983. It is the longest time between rounds under par in Masters history. Freddie, at age 42 years in between, he did it at age 23, and then he did it at 65 today. So from 1983 to 1925, the previous record was held jointly by Jack Nicklaus and Tom Watson. 40 years between breaking par. Nicklaus from 1960 to 2000. Watson 1975, 2015. 42 years between breaking par.
In the first round?
Period.
That can't be right.
I think it is. Why wouldn't it be?
You said Jack Nicklaus for a while went 40 years without breaking par?
No. The longest between first breaking par and breaking par again.
Thank you. Okay. Gotcha.
No, not without breaking par.
I was like, he
Jack
won in 85.
Majors.
Yeah.
86 he won. Yeah, he's got 6 majors
All
at
right.
a time. No. From the first time you broke par until the last time you broke par.
Got it.
42 years for Freddie Couples.
He's awesome.
That's
boom,
awesome.
boom.
By the way, that company,
He wants to make the cut. If he makes the cut, he's the oldest to ever make the cut.
I think he's gonna.
He
One more day.
almost seamlessly does it every year, and he runs out of gas by Saturday, late day Saturday.
Well,
he's
Saturday
60s.
means you made the cut.
But the other day,
the last few years,
a couple years ago, there was, now, and I say a couple, it's probably more like a decade ago, there was a time when he was like in the final pairing
yeah,
at Augusta, like in the 2010s at one point. He was in like one of the final groups.
I think it's close. I think it's sooner than that. I don't
More recently?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to say in the last 6 years, maybe.
By the way, as I am scrolling, and obviously there's a lot of golf content on the timeline today,
Yeah.
I'm watching a teaser for a show called Stick, a new
Oh,
golf
you
comedy
don't know
series
about
starring
this?
Owen Wilson, where he's a pro.
You don't
club
know
pro.
about this?
No, I'm in fully.
Of course you're in on this. I can't believe. And then he has like a protege that he's going to take under his wing.
Oh my god!
Oh, yeah. This is
Gonna be incredible.
I thought we had talked about that.
This is what he's doing, and Vaughn's making.
I think the Vaughn thing's going to be good. I think if it's a series,
I'm gonna give him
it's
the
got a
benefit of the
chance.
doubt because he's Vince Vaughn,
I
and
think
Susan
there's-
Sarandon is still capable.
I think it'll be solid.
Yeah.
I think it'll be solid. But yeah, that Stick show looks great. There's a trailer for it. It's great. I'm also looking forward to the John Hamm one on Apple, where he's the wealthy guy who loses everything and becomes a burglar to try to make it seem like he didn't.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be like a Schitt's Creek.
Not quite. But that's actually what did that?
We're rewatching that whole
Those
series right now
like
with
White Lotus.
with the kids.
Yeah, with the Ratliff
And
family.
Bryce loves it.
Of course he does.
It is.
It's great.
David Levy is so good. It's
Yeah.
really, and the way that they evolve is he's
great.
tremendous. And
The
Catherine
whole
O'Hara-
cast. Catherine O'Hara is throwing a lot of heat in that.
she might be one of the funniest people.
Moira.
We just watched the one where they had to go. They were going to get a car because they hadn't been able to afford a car, and they ended up buying like a Caddy or like a Buick from like the 80s where,
Yeah.
where the cars are like boats.
Yeah.
And she goes in there and does like a Cockney accent.
Yeah.
And has this disheveled wig on. And basically the story she tells for why they need them to discount this thing is a storyline from her show, that she was the star in or
Yeah.
whatever. And they recognize her, and then she refuses to take the discount because she doesn't need their charity.
Doesn't need it.
She just and Johnny Rose like, yeah, we do. We do
need the charity,
We
Moira.
do need that charity, Moira. Yeah. Moira. Who came up with naming her Moira was also
Perfect.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, Gibbe, time to open up that mailbag.
It is. You can tweet at the show at Browns_daily. Kyle Gratz. What one sports take were you most passionate about only to end up being dead wrong?
It's one sports team.
I can tell you what's going to come back if he doesn't have a good year this year. Kyle Shanahan on the hot seat.
Oh my goodness, Gibbe. Gibbe, that's your answer. I mean, if you were to go based, now you
Just
have to
on
understand
doing
what I
this.
do,
Right,
and
yeah.
who my employer is. but I thought we were going to be better in 2017. Not much.
Not much, no.
Better than zero.
Better than zero. I think this last year we also had some.
No, this last year, but
I'm trying to think if there's one
this last year
outside
is-
of. I wonder if there's got to be something that I was. I mean, I get a lot of things wrong.
I
there's gotta be
thought
something like
who
historically.
was the guy that was in the LeBron Carmelo draft that was Croatian, and so I liked
Darko
it.
Darko
Milicic.
Milicic.
Like I thought that guy was going to be good.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Terrible, Kenneth.
Dan McGuire thought he was going to be good just
something-
by being Mark McGuire's brother.
There has to be. I know that there's
I'm sure
going to be
There's
some
a
that's
billion
gonna,
of them.
There are, but there's got to be something that I really. You blew it, boy. There's got to be some. It'll come to me.
I'm good for one.
I'll
I'm
figure
good
it out.
for at least a couple a year.
Yeah, there's definitely something. There's got to be something college football wise that.
Dog Pound Cleveland Brown, what's your favorite golf club to use and why?
It's a great question. I mean, you love to hit the driver. Everybody likes the long ball. The putter means that you're the boss of the moss. I would probably say if I have my 54, my 58 in my hand, I feel pretty good that I'm going to hit a very, very good shot.
Yeah. I mean, there isn't any one that I'm like, oh, yeah, I know exactly what this is doing. The putter's the only one that is even remotely a pretty decent putter. But outside of that, there's nothing that I would say, let's go, baby.
I think if I had to play with just one club, I could probably go 8-iron.
8-iron.
8-iron,
Yeah,
baby.
nice.
8. I know what I can do with
You know
that.
where that's
I'm
going?
consistent with it. Let's see. This is from Steve Mallon on our conversation about the Todd McShay mock draft.
Yeah.
Would take the trade in a heartbeat if I knew I could get Shedeur, but it's too risky. Also need to watch out for Indy at 14 as someone who might take Sanders if he falls.
Well, you wouldn't
That's
do
an
it. You wouldn't
Indy
do it,
and
though,
the
unless you
Jets.
knew that he was still on the
If
board.
he was taking at 14, you're not trading
You're
at
not doing
15.
it, yeah.
But it is interesting. Like we've talked, a lot has been made mention of New Orleans and the Pukers. We don't talk about Indy, but
Schefter said, and I mentioned this yesterday, Schefter mentioned Miami and Arizona,
yeah,
too.
Miami
there's
makes a
someone
lot
out
of
there
sense.
we're not.
Miami
spending
makes a
of time.
lot of sense.
Yeah.
A lot of sense.
Shedeur would like that, too, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
A lot of weapons.
So,
good
by the way,
climate.
Abdul Carter visiting the Patriots. He did 4 visits. Titans, Browns, Giants, Patriots. Meanwhile, Travis Hunter's only visited Tennessee and Cleveland.
That's it.
That is the list.
Flem Daddy, I thought Trent Richardson was going to be a great pro. I didn't think he was going to be, but he was one I got wrong. I thought he would be a very good pro when he was drafted. I'll tell you, the one that, and we just did this conversation earlier, I was adamant on the radio show I was doing at the time that there was no way LeBron James would break up with Cleveland on live television. Like, once that got scheduled, I'm like, he's not doing that. You just don't do that.
Agreed.
There got to be people around him who say, dude, like, this ain't it.
No way.
And there were nobody. So, I mean, I remember I did like hour and a half straight of live television after it. And, like, I don't even remember. I was like catatonic. Like, what? I don't even understand what just happened. It was just crazy.
It's wild.
Joe tweets at the show, to my favorite golf enthusiast, Dr. Z, we all know walking 18 anywhere is fatiguing. If your fatigue level was treated like a charged battery, what % charge would your body be at after walking 18 at Augusta?
Do I have a caddy? Or am I?
I'm going to say you have a caddy.
You got a caddy.
I've got a caddy.
I can tell you what mine was after walking the Memorial. It was about 21%. Give me a milkshake and a heavy cocktail, and let's go.
Yeah, I felt. I'd say probably 60%.
Here's the thing that you would not, the percentage of fatigue that you would not have that I would have, and that my guess is Gibby would have. Your mental fatigue would not be there to the point that ours would. When I get done at Muirfield,
No,
for example,
Muirfield.
when I get done at Muirfield, I am especially in the media outing, which is a couple of weeks before the tournament, and that place is wet and thick and primed. And by the time I'm done, I'm emotionally done, mentally cooked,
Spent.
physically tired.
No.
That walk up to the 18 green,
straight
it's
uphill.
like this,
Yep.
like a flipping billy goat, and you get to the top and you're like, I don't care if I 12 putt, like I'm done, I'm out.
Yeah.
So you don't, because you're a great player,
And I
you
start.
don't have that mental.
Yep.
The mental, I would be I'm mentally cooked.
I'm going to tell you, I would say it might even be the opposite, because at a course like that, you have to grind. You have to lock in. You have to be thinking through everything. I was mentally I could not believe how hard that course was.
with all due respect, yes.
I'm
You're
also
trying to score. You're trying to play the course and score and put a good number up.
Yeah.
But you also know that every time you get on a tee box, you're going to hit short grass. Or most of the time you're going to. There, I bet you did.
I hit a lot
I bet
of
you hit
fairways.
most fairways.
Yeah.
And when did you play there? What time of year?
It was during the season.
In the fall.
Yeah.
Okay. So you also got the benefit of playing in the fall, which is an entirely different experience. They actually mow the rough in the fall. In the spring, they say the hell with it. Like, bring your waders, boys.
Yep.
There has been times I've missed fairways by 10 feet at Muirfield and lost a ball in the rough.
Well, on some of those holes, though, if you miss a fairway left by 10 feet, you're in water.
You're done.
And that happened to me a few times. I had what I thought were really good drives. And
Yeah, like on
Tom
11.
Sprouse, get us in the Memorial
is 11
Media
the,
outing.
Is 11
You
the
wanna
par
go
5?
Just bring the show down. We can do that tomorrow.
Let's do that.
You want to play that?
Yes,
we can
I
that
do.
Tomorrow.
Yes.
We could do that.
We can do that tomorrow.
Yes. In.
The toughest thing is after you get done playing that day is the drive home. Because when you lived in Columbus, it's probably not awful. I get in the car and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna need some caffeine.
Yeah.
We're
You're
gonna
smoked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was less than a mile, so it was pretty quick to get there.
Yeah. David tweets at the show, if you could have one grounds crew take care of your lawn forever, would you choose football, baseball, or Augusta National?
Do I have their budget? 'Cause if I have their budget, it's Augusta.
Sure.
I agree. 100%.
Mr. Camtastic, do you think drafting a solid support around a QB, good defense, strong O-line, weapons, etc., helps lower the quality QB you need to have to succeed? I think getting the guy in the future, if you don't like any of the guys at the top, is easier once the environment is enriched.
For sure, it is, but you're ultimately going to need a guy to be the guy to compete in this division, in this conference. That's why I want weapons. If we're not drafting the quarterback, I want weapons so that when you do, he's got weapons. But
you know what, buddy?
I want a quarterback.
You know it's an exact science? All of the draft.
An exact science? Totally.
So when people say to me, let's draft everything else and then we'll get the quarterback, that's suggesting you're going to hit on all the picks.
But you're not.
You're not.
No.
You're not half of them, at best. At
best. You're not.
So, the notion that, let's just get everything else lined up and they're all going to be all pros and then we'll get the quarterback next year.
Yeah.
No. That's not how it works.
No, it does not work. It is, unfortunately, very challenging.
One final one here from our friend and listener, Sophie.
All right.
Hi, what's the best food you've ever eaten in a stadium/arena?
Oh, easy. Do you have one? I'll give you mine right
You
now.
give yours and I'll think about it.
Yankee Stadium, buddy's bachelor party. We went to Yankee Stadium and then went out to the Hamptons, played golf. It was
That's a baller of a bachelor
kid did
party.
well, dad did really well. And they had Yankee Stadium had a Lobel's, which is like a legendary butcher in Manhattan, Lobel's steak sandwich that was unreal. The most tender filet with the sandwich and the au jus. Wow. That was a real one.
So I have two answers. Believe it or not, the one that popped in my head immediately, and I have not had it. I don't even know if it's even still there. But when they opened Camden Yards,
Okay.
and I was there in the summers of 2000 and 1999, in right field was Boog Powell had played for them, and there was Boog's Barbecue.
Yeah.
And it was like pulled pork, like barbecue pit sandwiches, and they were
lights out.
amazing. So that would be one, and then the other would be at the WrestleMania that was in L.A. Miz had a suite.
Oh.
And we had like tenderloin and sushi and chilled lobster and chilled. I mean, it was like being at a nice restaurant.
Yeah.
So that was pretty good.
Yeah.
A few more questions come in, and we will get to them tomorrow.
There you go. There you go. I see Richie and Bobby both in the mix. So
Everybody they came in
buddy.
literally at the very end.
Yeah.
I promise we will get to them tomorrow.
You got time tomorrow, boys. Don't worry, Ned. We're going to get to you, buddy. So much more to come. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
relative.
All right, so G-Man is leading this thing. Justin Rose now through 9 is 5 under. Justin Rose, 5 under. Corey Connors second at 4. Terrell Hatton at 4. Scheffler at 3.
This is just the G-Man's team, basically. None of us took Justin Rose.
No.
I took Victor Hovland instead.
Woof.
Is he struggling?
Who's your highest? Who's the guy you have as highest on the board?
I don't
Highest
think
on the
anybody.
leaderboard. The best I've got, I think, is Morikawa at 1 under. I think
G-Man,
everybody
give us
else-
updates.
I think everybody else is over.
Like the Chris Vernon show.
Mickelson's made a little run.
I thought about taking Mickelson.
Phil's at +1. He was as high as +3.
Matsuyama's at even.
Rory's 1 under. That's my best player.
He's got to be
1 minute.
He can't. He's got to shoot 70.
Yeah.
Spieth is 2 over.
Spieth fell apart for me.
DJ's 2 over.
So,
What
Koepka
happened to
2
him?
over.
Koepka 2 over. What's going on,
Any of
boys?
these guys?
They went on live, dude. It's not a serious tour.
It's not a serious tour. I don't think it
Not
has.
used to it.
But DeChambeau's still good.
That's because he's how he is. He's a computer.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, there you go. We're back tomorrow for more fun. The next level is next. Thanks for listening, everybody. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.